Saints, my name is Marianne Ushi.
Hi Saints, my name is Jeffrey.
I am Marianne Auta.
I am Bivan Tessie.
Challenges are a part of life, and as Christians, we often hear the phrase, carry your cross, take up your cross, blah, blah, blah. But relax, what is actually our cross? Before I go and carry something, I'll just be calling this my cross. Are all the difficulties we go through in life our crosses, or are we mislabeling some struggles as crosses to avoid accountability? Think about it. Hi Saints, my name is Jeffrey, and this is Catholic Faith Forum. Yes, today I'm saying Catholic Faith Forum, not Know Your Faith. Get used to it. And today, on today's episode, we are asking the question, how do we identify our crosses? How to identify our cross. Here with me in the studio, I have the right person. You get emphasis on the right person for this episode. But we're not going to see him now. We're going to go on a short break right now. And while you're on this break, please go and bring that chair. Bring it. Call all your guys and sit down. So you know which one is actually your cross and the one that you're just calling cross because of laziness. We'll be back soon. Welcome back, Saints. This is Catholic Faith Forum. If you're just joining us, today we are asking the question, how do we identify our crosses? How do I know which one is my cross? And the one that I'm just using laziness to shy away from. And like I said before the break, I have here with me the right person for this episode. Emphasis, guys, on the right person for this episode. And there's one problem, though. He's an Arsenal fan. But then let me introduce him. Here I have with me Reverend Father Elijah-Exodus Irekhiafe. Did I pronounce his surname right?
Irekhiafe.
Irekhiafe. Irekhiafe.
Excellent. You
I
hit
thought
that
it
one.
was E, like that starts with.
No, it's I.
Oh, yeah. So as I said, guys, first, the only problem with him, is that he's an Arsenal fan. That's like the only issue.
Wait until you hear his club.
At least I have European trophies. That's one very big thing, at least for me. So, a bit about Reverend Father Elijah. So, Father Elijah is the secretary to the provincial, to the paraprovincial.
Provincial.
Yeah, so he's the secretary to the paraprovincial. He likes secretary work for some reason. I don't know, maybe because he's an Arsenal fan. He's used to, I don't know, maybe just writing and scribbling things down or something. Didn't like Ateta.
Keep talking.
Keep talking. You guys are the one that are talking, right? But I'll stay on, boy.
Okay. Stay, you have to.
All right, so Father, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing very okay.
You're doing good.
Yes.
Are you sure you're doing good?
Yeah, though out of the EFL Cup, what can I say? But I'm fine.
No.
I'm fine.
How do you feel not winning the trophy in years?
The season is still fresh now. Calm down.
Yeah, no. All right. We'll get into it. Maybe Arsenal is also your cross. Maybe today we'll identify that Arsenal is your cross.
You see now? You have seen it.
Maybe we'll know. Well, let's start with the basics of the topic, right? So let's go biblical now. What does the Bible mean when it says take up your cross? When Jesus says take up your cross and follow me, what does it mean by that?
Well, the command is very explicit, and it's clear. It's not there's no ambiguity to it. Jesus' command is a call to self-abasement, okay, self-sacrifice. It's something that one must be willing to offer the self, surrender the self, for the sake of following Jesus. It's not symbolic. Some people want to think that, it doesn't really mean no. Jesus is saying that sometimes you go through some difficulty to be able to purify yourself to that contemplation of what he's calling you to be. And most of the time, it is basically just, remember, it's always tied to discipleship. It's always tied to followership. So it's not just an idea. In following Jesus, sometimes you have to bear certain burdens, basically. And then that's what it's not it's a call that invites the one who wants to follow to be willing to do what needs to be done to keep following Jesus.
You guys, I always enjoy Father Elijah speaking. I'm not even going to lie. All right. So in that, you've also more or less defined like what a cross is. More or less, you've done that. So we are called to. I think that's why it doesn't just end at take up your cross. There is the take up your cross and follow me.
In fact, if you pay attention to that passage, Jesus was gaining popularity among the people. His ministry was people were coming. In fact, there was a time people were eating and master. In fact, there was one time that was somebody said, "We've been looking for you." And say it's not because this is because of the ate manna.
Yes, sir.
So at some point he had to make clear to them that there's more to following me than just eating food. That's why if you want to follow me, you must take up your cross and follow me. This one you are following now, just follow to, and many Christians are like that. You know, now when they come to this church, if he's giving, they collect. If not, if the thing dry up, they look for the next Jesus. But that's not it. That's not it.
All right. So next up, do you think all challenges we face in life are crosses, or can some be avoided with wisdom and planning?
Not every challenge we go through is a cross. You know, some are self-imposed. You know, when you refuse to study.
You just call my name now. You just come, just say, Jeff, just shout my name.
When you refuse to study and then you go and eat kondo and fail, you be like, that's not cross. That is just somebody not doing their due diligence. Remember, it's always tied to followership. It's always tied to mission. To know a cross, you must know it in relation to your relationship with Jesus. It always has to be in relationship. It's not some social challenge, you know, like maybe you're driving and then you bash your car, the car you just bought. You don't begin to think that, well, this one don't become my cross now. Why not if you get car? No. The ministry of following Jesus and the challenges that come in the process of that followership, those are the crosses you must overcome. Those are the crosses you must overcome. You know, and that's it. With crosses, for every cross that is overcome, grace is given to the soul, and grace is needed for such this thing. So it's that fundamental idea that creates that separation. Certain challenges, you just need to apply wisdom.
So now, how do we know the difference between a God-given cross and like one that is just due to, I don't know, basically our personal choices?
As I said, it's tied again to that whole mission. Okay, for instance, now you are a believer. You're a believer. You're working in a place where you have this you're witnessing in that particular place is causing a certain kind of hate, right? Or maybe because of who you are, you're having this antagonism from certain people. You face this battle to compromise or to remain to stick to Jesus. You know, there's this battle to compromise or to stick with Jesus. Such a situation can be a moment of, remember, witnessing is key in understanding cross. In following Jesus, you kind of mirror the mission of Jesus. You are telling people that you are for Christ. So what they throw on your way to test you,
stop that.
Okay, to know whether you're balanced. Those are the crosses you sometimes have to overcome. And sometimes, as St. James will tell us, as Hebrew will tell us, the Lord sometimes uses these, allows this. It's not as if God just throws crosses to us to give us problems. No, He allows them when they come our way to purify our faith.
For our own benefit.
It's okay, to discipline us, to beat us into shape, sort of. It's certain persons whose fundamental problem in life is just pride. Like they're just full of themselves. Then you come to an office space where you have one small man or a small woman who is your boss and who wants to show you hell. It seemed very like, yeah, what's this? That could be, could be understood if you are someone who is seeing your life in relation to the mission of Jesus. As this could be a way God wants to cut this pride that is dealing with me seriously. To prepare me for something else. You know, it's a mission. It's a mission. In the other cases where you have certain challenges, you have a quarrel with your friend, right? Or your girlfriend breaks up with you. It's not every time that the boy is to break up with. You can't call that one my cross and be like, is that your cross now? Who sent you before to go and do?
All right, Padre, we'll come back to this. But speaking on followership and crosses, let's take a look at the life of the saints. Okay. All right, yeah. So now we'll be going on our Saint of the Week break. So we'll learn from these people who have picked up their cross and followed Christ. Over to you.
The origin of the exaltation of the Holy Cross dates back as far as the 4th century, specifically around the time of Empress Helena, the mother of Emperor Constantine the Great. Your mind go there. Constantine, after becoming emperor, legalized Christianity with the Edict of Milan in 313 AD, which allowed Christians to practice their faith openly. Soon after, Constantine's mother, Helena, embarked on a pilgrimage to Jerusalem to find Christian relics, particularly the true cross. Now, what's interesting is that Helena's search led to the discovery of 3 crosses near the site of Jesus' crucifixion in Golgotha during excavation work in the early 4th century. What a discovery. According to tradition, to determine which of the 3 crosses was the true cross, a miracle occurred. Let's have it. When one of the crosses was touched to a sick person, they were healed, confirming it as the cross of Christ. This relic was then preserved and venerated by the faithful. Once the true cross was identified, Emperor Constantine ordered the construction of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem, which began in 326 AD, and it was built over the site of Jesus' crucifixion and tomb. The church became a center of Christian pilgrimage, and the relic of the true cross was placed in it for public veneration. The exaltation itself refers to lifting up or elevation of the cross during the liturgical celebration, signifying the reverence and honor given to the cross as a symbol of Christ's victory over sin and death. In the early church, this was a moment of great solemnity and joy. Joy is coming. The exaltation of the Holy Cross is a feast day in the Christian liturgical calendar that commemorates the discovery of the true cross and its subsequent veneration. Celebrated on September 14th, this feast honors the cross on which Jesus Christ was crucified, and it serves as a reminder of the centrality of the cross in our Christian faith.
Welcome back, Saints. If you're just joining us today on the show, we want to know, how do we identify our crosses? What is really a cross and what is not? And today I have Reverend Father Elijah with me here. And hopefully you learn from the life of the saints, how to take up your cross and actually follow Christ. Yeah, so Father, come back to our discussion. I have my personal opinion on what I'm about to say, but I want to hear from you. So in today's world, people often use the term cross loosely. Or what do you think about it? Do you think people randomly just say, I have this new cross? Or basically, do you think people overuse the term?
It's interesting because you even find people who are not even Christians, right? Saying that they are this thing that you see. But of course we understand essentially that a cross is a significant symbol for Christianity. It's a symbol of faith. It's a symbol that reminds us of the passion, the death, and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And we learn that in Catechism. Why do we make the sign of the cross? To remind us of the Blessed Trinity, and to remind us that God the Son became man, and for our sake mounted the wood of the cross, was dead, was raised, so that we can have life. Okay? So those elements must be present in the understanding of a reality, a challenge, before you can call it a cross. Okay? Of course, it is being used loosely, and of course, a lot of things are being used loosely these days in our time. Anything can be anything, So, but the fact that people are saying it, for me, I don't think it's a bad thing. if they understand the cross to be something that challenges them to be better, then I don't mind if everybody think they have crosses. But if they see it just as something to excuse why they should not put effort, because there's the mistaken opinion that once it is your cross, you don't do anything about it. You just keep carrying it. So somebody carries a sinful tendency and then say, this is what I'm battling with, is my cross. It cannot go. So you excuse your way through it. While but even the disciple, even in cases, you talked about the saints just now, even those of them with we have some of the saints, powerful ministers of God, who had these challenges, but they went through with it, they moved with it, they did not sit down and just be like, yeah, it's my cross, I can't do nothing about it. No, you keep praying, you keep asking God for discernment. What am I to learn from this experience? What is in this experience for me? How will this make me a better follower of Jesus? If he does not have anything to offer you in terms of followership, then it's not a cross. It's probably just something you need to fix and just find a solution to it. And even when it is a cross, you still have to keep working to build faith through it. Because again, it is one of the ways God himself teaches us and purifies us for himself.
Good. So much wisdom. So now let's talk personal experiences. Do you remember any moment in your life that you identified something as your cross, and how did you go about it?
Okay, I'm thinking about it. There was this time, those persons who have heard me speak about my experience in Ibadan will know about this a lot, when I had, and again, it falls within that realm of understanding and misunderstanding sometimes. Okay, so I constantly I used to be very sick. Right, like I fall sick like every now and then.
You think it was just Arsenal stressing you?
Well, leave Arsenal now. Let's.
I don't know. Maybe every weekend you're watching rubbish and then just falling sick.
Okay, we'll get back to this matter. Anyways, so, and then at one point I was like, oh, it could be a cross. Maybe I'll just carry it and follow. Then I found out that I was misdiagnosed. Okay, I had one condition. The person was saying it was something else. Okay. But I met another doctor, was like, nah, you can't be dealing with that. This is what the problem is. And then with therapy, few treatments, I was back to my normal self. Just to throw that in the times of how sometimes you can misunderstand something. I could have just continued carrying that sickness for all my life and think that, oh, it's my cross, it's following Jesus, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, there's an explanation for it, okay? But then there are other cases too where you have challenges. That same health condition was something that perhaps helped me realize that in the way I understood it as a cross was that it made me realize that I have to push through. I have to push through, that this thing should not hold me down for my following. So it instead of weighing me down, it actually gave me more reason to want to push on. Push on with my relationship with God, push on with understanding where I stand with my God. And if it achieved that for me, then it made me a better follower of Jesus Christ. And that's essentially, I think, as I said, the key factor in this whole idea of what is a cross and what is not a cross. Yeah.
Does it make you a better follower of Christ at the end of the day?
At the end of the day, does it make you see God more, know God more, love God more, appreciate God more? Does it draw you to service of God?
Beautiful. I mean, we're learning about our faith here, but then it's time for us to know more about our faith. Over to Know Your Faith, Creole.
Do you know the song? So I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to that old rugged cross and exchange it someday for a crown. Hello and welcome to Know Your Faith series. I am Amaka Ozo. Amaka we no dey disappoint. And on today's episode of Know Your Faith, Today, we are reflecting on one of the most profound symbols of Christianity, the cross. It is more than just an emblem. It's a sign of hope, sacrifice, and redemption. Let's explore 5 of its key significances. First, the cross as a sign of redemption. Jesus bore our sins on the cross, offering us salvation through his sacrifice. It reminds us of God's immense love for humanity, as stated in John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him may not perish, but have everlasting life. Second, the cross as a sign of victory over sin and death. Through his resurrection, fulfilling 1 Corinthians 15, verses 55 to 57, Jesus conquered the powers of darkness, giving us the promise of eternal life. Third, the cross as a call to discipleship. Jesus said in Luke 9:23, "Take up your cross every day and follow me." It challenges us to embrace our struggles with faith and perseverance, signifying a call of self-denial and commitment. Fourth, the cross as a mark of unity. The cross unites Christians worldwide. Despite our differences, the cross stands as a common symbol of our shared faith and hope in Christ, representing a shared belief in Jesus' saving work. Finally, the cross as a symbol of God's unconditional love. It's a constant assurance that no matter how far we stray, his mercy is always available to us, especially as Jesus' willingness to die on the cross is the ultimate act of love. Each time I look at the cross, I'm reminded of the profound love and victory of Christ. What does the cross mean to you? Let us know in the comments. That's all for today. Subscribe to Dominican Media. Share this video with your friends. Be like Jesus. Share the gospel. Encourage them to comment and share as well. My name is Amaka Ozo, and until next time, be bold, be Catholic.
Welcome back, Saints. Thank you very much, Know Your Faith team, for that lovely session on faith. I hope you learned. Now, back to our conversation. So now, for someone struggling to carry their cross, what advice would you give them to stay strong and persevere? Now, I'm saying the person has watched this video, being sure that this is actually a cross, right? So, what advice do you give them to say, or just keep pushing, keep persevering?
Usually I say to put your cards on the table. Put everything on the table. Your cards on the table. Like, see everything that, like all the options that are available to you. You know, sometimes we as I said, crosses are they're not usually permanent. It's not the case that they must always be permanent. They're not a permanent scar on you that you have to deal with for the rest of your life. Once they achieve the purpose for which they were there, then you move on, you advance in faith. In fact, some of the things you call cross might just be a development in the faith. It gets to a point where that used to bother you, that you thought was a cross, you just find out that it made you so good, so better at something, and then it's still there, but you don't bother about it again, because the purpose for which it was there has been achieved in your life. Okay? So even though sometimes people tend to think that crosses are just like forever thing, but they're not. They're not. So when you put all this, when you examine them completely, you pray about it. Discernment is key. Discernment is key. Ask God for wisdom. How should I go about this? Speak to someone. I always emphasize this. Speak to a spiritual director, someone that you can tell that this is what I am dealing with. And you might think that you are the only person who has had to deal with this thing. It's not true. There are other people who may have gone through the same thing, and your speaking will help you get perspective. Yeah. Like, oh, you'll be shocked that a place will tell you, well, I had this challenge. And that alone is enough comfort to make you now relax and be like, okay, at least we are getting at something here. Because exactly, if you're just isolated in your own space and you think you can fix it by yourself, you may not be able to do that. Not because it's not fixable, but because you do not have the knowledge that is needed to understand and sort it out. But when you pray and you seek counsel, you're likely going to either find a way to overcome it, or to deal with it, or to learn from it and move on, or you know whether it's something you just have to keep dealing with. But that has to come from a proper discernment that comes through prayer, studying of the Word of God, speaking to someone who's an expert, and then you might just find your path or your mission in that particular cross.
Good. So lastly, what's your message to Christians who are confused about what God is asking of them? So the only scenario, or the best scenario that's coming to my head, is this. So someone feels like God is calling them to maybe life of clergy, maybe a girl to sisterhood, or a guy to being a priest, or I don't know, anything like that. Yeah, and they just feel like this is too much for me, or basically what message you give, because to them it could be some form of should I call it a cross-ish, but it's some form of struggle for them. So what advice do you give to them?
Again, life is not the best life you can live. The best life you can live is the life that truly honors God. And it does not always have to be in a religious setting, like being a priest or a reverend sister. There are also another group of people that are called the single consecrated. They're not married, they're not priests, they're not sisters, they are lay people living every day among us. You see them in church, but they are consecrated virgins, consecrated perpetually. They'll never get married, but they're working. There could be your bank manager or your lawyer even in court, but that's their vocation. That's a vocation. And some people struggle with their vocation. They struggle with their vocation. You see somebody who is called to the priesthood, and the person is you've experienced it. Then you are running to go and get married, or you see somebody who is married, they know that they're supposed to be. So again. I feel
like you never experienced, like you don't have peace.
Of course, it's a struggle. You have to, some people ignore it. But some other people learn from it. You know, you learn from it, because that experience itself can lead you to where you ought to be. When you have that struggle, pray about it. When you have prayed about it, seek counsel. Speak to someone. Exactly. Speak always. That one is a very key thing. And we are speaking to people, just about speaking to the wrong people sometimes. Like, speak to someone and then be guided accordingly. I do believe that God will lead you to where He wants you to be, where you'll be most fruitful in your vocation, whether married, whether single, whether a priest. It doesn't really matter. Just where you will serve God more.
Where you ought to be.
And then you make heaven. That's the ultimate.
Word, that's been an awesome conversation. I'm never going to lie. I've learned a whole lot about what is my cross and what is not my cross. The one that I'm just calling cross because of laziness. I know, or rather, I hope you also have learned a lot. So thank you a lot, Farah.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
You're a very good person, genuinely. And thank you too for staying here with us to the very end. Please do well to share this video, like, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you've not, hit the notification bell. You can follow us on all social media, Instagram, X, Facebook, anywhere you can think of, at CFF on TV. I am Jeffrey, and that is literally my Instagram and Twitter handle. _ I am Jeffrey, and I am Jeffrey 14. So till next time, saints, keep being saints in jeans and shirts. Bye.
And then,
what do you do?
You just live your life. You're just not going to get married. That's all. You live your life.
So
Normal.
what if later you now want children and you now sleep?
You're consecrated. You know what consecration is?
I don't know.
That's why you need to take your time and think about it. That's why you need that probation period.